Hey everyone, it's Shaylee. Don't feel like today's video is going to be negative. I'm really trying to keep it positive because just kind of a quick update. I have a 2-year-old almost daughter. I cannot believe that. But anyways, I'm Shay if you're new around here, and I usually make beauty videos, clothing hauls, favorites videos, vlogs, stuff like that. I've been on YouTube I think like 8 or 9 years, and along the way in that time, my husband and I were trying to conceive. And so once I went on Clomid, I made a video all about my experience, my symptoms. I'll link it below if you're interested in that video. But yeah, basically I just noticed it was getting a ton of views. I think because my content is so all over the place. I feel like you're crooked. I just painted this a while ago and I hung these photos and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this making lines and stuff look weird? Hopefully we're okay. Is that better? I don't know. Anyways, I feel like since my content is kind of all over the place, sometimes I don't get that many views on YouTube, and that's all good. I love doing it. It's more like creative to me. I mean, of course I would love more people being here, so thank you for being here, but my point is I got like 50,000 views on this Clomid video. What that tells me is a lot of people coming to my channel, or a lot of people doing YouTube searches, are trying to conceive and using Clomid and all of that. So I just kind of felt like, you know, if you're subscribing from that video, or if you're trying to conceive yourself, like, I don't know, I just feel like my infertility journey was kind of always like a story that was part of me and my husband and just our life, and it was like missing from my channel because I share a lot about like mental health struggles I've had and just different stuff, and it was always like I was open about trying to conceive and open about how it took me a while. I talked about my postpartum depression, but I've never done an infertility video, like infertility journey video. So I think it's time. We are now trying for baby 2. So I think that's what's kind of bringing up all of these feelings. I originally thought I was going to vlog like the experience of trying to conceive again, and I just thought like, no, that is so much pressure. Like that's just, it's already kind of a stressful like thing. So I don't want to add anything else to it. So I of course will share little tidbits like in my Monday makeup chat videos and stuff like that. I threw up my camera the other day, like a couple months ago actually. It was like 2 months back, 3 months back, and I just like said a bunch of stuff of how I was feeling. So I might pop some of that in this video where it makes sense. So anyways, all this to say, I just kind of felt like this was a video missing from my channel, and so I'm here to make it today. I tried not to overthink it and like think about it too much, so I'm just gonna free speak. I hope it's not too all over the place. My point with this video is to let you know a little bit about me more personally, so that you know you're not alone if you are on this journey as well. My point is trying to give you hope, because I know that I was in low places where I thought I'm never gonna become a mom. Gosh, this is weird. I'm like getting tingles, and I just don't want you to feel like that. I just want you to have positive vibes and positive energy, because I believe so much in manifesting, and it was a constant battle going on in my head of like, no, don't think that way, like you're gonna figure it out. Like at the end of the day, me and my husband said if we don't get pregnant, we're adopting. Like in some way or another, I'm gonna be a mom. But then I would get really down sometimes when it was just month after month after month after month and just nothing, you know. It's just, you really do get inside your head. So I hope by watching this video you leave in a positive mindset and you're feeling good. Whew. I feel like that was probably the longest intro ever, but this is just kind of a long chatty video, I think. Okay, so like I said, I'm Shaylee. I am 33 years old right now. I had my baby girl when I was 31. I tried to get her for like 3.5 years. So that would mean that I started trying to conceive when I was what, like 28? I think I was 27. I got married when I was 26, and we had already been together 7 years before that. So we have a very long journey. I think we've been together like 14 years. So my husband's name is Danny. I'll just refer to him as that in the rest of the video. We got married in 2016, so I was 26. We had already been together for so long, like I said. So part of us was like, and we already had lived together for like, gosh, probably 2 years at this point, just by ourselves, 3 or 4 years with roommates, include, you know, if you include roommate time before that. Like I just feel like we took everything so slow, and it wasn't like a rush at all. And I think later, sorry, the AC just turned on, hopefully that's not too loud. It wasn't like, I think that was part of the problem in the long run, is I just felt like I already waited so long. Like I was listening to everyone say like, take your time, and then it took for fucking ever, and so it was very frustrating. But anyway, it is what it is, and I feel like everything's meant to happen for a reason. I haven't been on birth control since I was 18, by the way. Like I haven't been on birth control since I've been with my husband, so just that fact is right there. I originally wanted to start right when we got married. And a lot of our friends and family were like, don't, just enjoy like your first year of marriage, just you guys, blah, blah, blah. And I totally see what they're saying, and we ended up doing that. You know, just being careful, like we weren't using any type of protection really. We just like wouldn't have sex around the time that I was ovulating, and I would just follow like an app. So I wasn't like testing my ovulation this early on or anything like that. But we would just like avoid those times when we knew I could get pregnant, and we just lived our life for about a year. And I remember, so we got married in May, no, April 30th. So, but anyways, the next year, my best friend Brittany told me she was pregnant in June, and it was so exciting. Gosh, it gives me chills because I just remember I was sitting on my couch at my old house, like I got the phone call, and I was so happy for her. I keep getting chills, you guys. I just feel like this is such a real emotional video. Like it's just, this stuff is so intense. So anyway, we have like a really close group of friends. We all went to college together. We all like moved back home together. We all got married around the same time. And so I kind of just figured like, all right, Brittany and Kyle, like they're our best friends and they've been together like the longest, high school sweethearts. And we just figured like, all right, they're starting to have babies. Like it's been a year since we got married, a little over a year. Like I remember talking to Danny and being like, all right, like we waited a year, like our friends and family said, like, do you think it's time? Should we get going on this? And my mom was 21 when she had me. So I think as a woman, that internal clock, that what do they call it? There's like a name for that. Your biological clock, that's what it is. As a woman, that's always ticking, unfortunately. Like we think about that kind of stuff, right? Where my husband always thought like, oh, we'll be 30 before we have kids. And I always thought like, yeah, right, we're getting married at 26. Like I'm not waiting 4 years to have kids. Little did I know, right? But anyway, so we started trying, and it's really hard because it has been so long. I wish I would have like taken journal entries at this time. I didn't really start journaling till I was 30 and like keeping it. I would always like throw it away. So that was what, 2017. So we were trying from like June 2017 up until like summer of 2019 with no medical intervention, help, anything. I remember the first couple months just like not using any protection and knowing like from my app, okay, I'm ovulating, let's do it. And I think that's what most couples do. Like they just kind of just start playing with trying it out, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, maybe most people don't, and they just like start tracking their ovulation. I wasn't like that because I wasn't thinking it was gonna be hard. And I say that because I think that's what most people think. Like you don't grow up thinking it's gonna be hard. I feel like if anything, it's drilled into you, you know, when you start like having sex, maybe as a teenager or whatever. Like my parents were always like, use protection if you do this. Like I have a very open dialogue with my mom and stuff like that. So I think just as a teenager growing up and like learning about all this stuff, you're more thinking like it's hard to not get pregnant, like you need to be really good and not get pregnant. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope I'm not sounding weird to people, but that's just my perspective of it growing up. It was always like something you were trying to protect from, not something that was going to be hard to do. Also going on at this time, like I said, a lot of my friends were getting married. We had best friends getting married in Hawaii. My brother was getting married in Jamaica, all within the next couple years. So there was certain times where like, okay, you can't fly past 7 months. So there would be like a couple months where I'd be like, okay, we can't try this month or this month because of that. Or if you don't know, my husband's a firefighter, and at this time he was an engineer. Where was he? I don't know. He was somewhere where he still had to stay the night almost every night that he was on shift, 3 days a week. And then if he was like at a fire, he'd be gone. So sometimes like we just missed my ovulation time. But for the most part, from 2017 to summer 2019, like we were those first 2 years trying. So then 2019 comes around and I was like, what is going on? Like this is, I don't know. So anyways, I went and got my like normal girl checkup that summer. I don't remember in what month. It was like June or July 2019. I had gone to my doctor that I'd gone to like since I started seeing a gynecologist. And I love him, and I live in a small town. If anyone's watching this and you know who I'm talking about, I don't think he's a bad guy. I love him. Like, he delivered me. He's awesome. He's the only one I had been to for my whole like life as a girl going to a gynecologist. But basically, I like went and got my checkup and expressed to him like, hey, we've been trying to have a baby for like 2 years. You know, we haven't been like perfectly tracking it, but I feel like that's kind of a long time. Like, does that seem normal? Like, should I be worried? You know, that kind of thing. And it's so weird looking back because I think I was just young and like not very assertive and life was busy, and I don't know, because now I'd be like, what the hell, 2 years, like there's no way I'm gonna wait 2 years before getting help again, you know? So I don't know what I was doing, but I think it was just like a lot of my friends still didn't have kids. So it was like, I was trying, but it wasn't like that crazy. I don't know. I wish I could remember better. That's why I wish I would have made this video a long time ago. But anyways, so doctor was like, okay, well, why don't we like get you a sonogram? Is that the right word? Like where they take the little thing over your belly, a scan, whatever it is, and just see what's going on in there. And so I did that. It came back and he said, you know, your pap was normal and the scan looks normal. You have a few ovarian cysts, but that's very normal. Like a lot of women get those around their period and they come and go each month. And he made me feel like this was something like totally normal. He just seemed so like nonchalant about it, like, oh, it all looks good. So I don't know if at that time it was really super little and like it wasn't a big deal, or if he should have had concern that he didn't have. Because what happened was at that time he was like, okay, so the next step would be to get your husband's sperm tested. And my poor husband, the only place that does it is like 45 minutes away from us. Like however it was, you had to go to Chico, it's called, go to their hospital. You have to have it like come out of the body and then come out of the body. Tested like within a certain amount of time. And so it wasn't something that like my husband could like figure out at home and bring somewhere. It was like he had to like go to the hospital and like do his thing there, which is just like, all this is cracking me up because I remember he was so embarrassed and I was gonna go with him, but I had to work. So he had to like go up to the desk, ask the lady for the stuff, like the cup, and go in the bathroom, and like it was this whole thing. So if this is your husband, like send him all the hugs and kisses and good vibes, because I think it's very nerve-wracking and embarrassing for them. So anyways, that happens. It comes back to doctor and he says to my husband, you're a stud, all is great, all is good. So then it's like, well, what's wrong? Like if nothing's showing up wrong on my stuff, on my end, and nothing's showing up wrong on his end, what's the deal? You know what I mean? So that doctor decided that next I would be scheduled to do like a test where they basically put dye in you, and it goes through your fallopian tubes to make sure there's nothing like blocking your fallopian tubes so that the egg can drop and be fertilized to get pregnant. By the way, my periods, I don't know if I said this part already, I don't think I did. My periods have always been really long and really heavy, and like I just kind of thought that was normal because it's been my entire life. And I remember my dad, like once in a while I'd have to stay home from school because I just had like such heavy periods and like cramps, and my dad saying like, oh my gosh, your aunt was like that. Like I remember your aunt being like that. So I just kind of thought it was like something that was normal. But anyway, my point is my periods were always like, they came every month, but they were like in hindsight really long and like heavy. But at the time I just felt like that was normal. So anyways, I don't know why I didn't get scheduled for that fallopian tube test for so long, because like by this time we were deciding to do this, it was probably fall, and I don't know, like fall 2019, I don't know if I thought like, oh, the holidays are coming, like I'll do this. Plus I'm so scared of medical stuff, and I believe it was like something I had to be put to sleep for. So I think I was like pushing it off, and I'm like, I'll do this after the holidays, or I don't know if they just like didn't have a lot of openings. I don't know. But this got scheduled eventually for March 2020. So March 2020 comes, and we all know what happened March 2020. And so I called the hospital and I'm like, hey, like what's going on? Is this still happening? And they were like, no, for right now, like we're only doing medical procedures that are necessary, like emergency situations. We're not doing just scheduled things like this anymore. We'll get in touch with you and reschedule it. So it got put on hold, and then like shit hit the fan. It was COVID, you know, no one knew what was happening. So that kind of got put on the back burner. So then I think it had been a couple months, like April or May, and I called back in, and maybe it was like June, a little bit later when things started like opening up, and I call back in and my doctor has now retired. So I'm like, cool, what do I do now? So I end up finding this new doctor who I super duper love. So doctor number 2, I go to him and he's like, you know, it's been literally a year since you had your last sonogram. Let's redo it. Like I want to redo it. I want to start fresh. Like I can see his old notes, but I just would prefer to like start fresh with you. And I was like, cool. So I go get that thing done, the sonogram, and I get called back into doctor number 2's office, and he's like, hey, your pap turned out fine again, but this sonogram, like I'm concerned there's this really big cyst. Like, did you know about this? Like, what have you been, were you made aware of this? Like, what did he say about this? Because I can see that it's on the old sonogram results and now it's bigger. And so it's concerning. And I was just kind of like, what cyst? Like, Dr. One, like now that the new doctor was saying that, I'm kind of like, I remember vaguely like him talking about women getting these and they come and go around your cycle, but he didn't make it at all like I had like this main one, you know what I mean? So I was like, what cyst? Dr. Two was like, yeah, this is something I'm concerned about. And it was weird though, because all this is happening and I'm like, so this is why I'm not getting pregnant? Like I think when you're struggling, you want to find something to identify or to like blame, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, this is the problem, like if I just fix this. And it sucked because Dr. Two was like, no, like people can get pregnant with this kind of stuff. I actually have a good friend who got pregnant with an ovarian cyst and they had a C-section and they took out her cyst at the same time as the baby. So like after talking to a few friends after this appointment, I found out like this isn't the reason, but it's still something that's concerning. So the doctor too had me like go back in and get a more detailed sonogram of the cyst. Came back, I had an endometrioma cyst, and it's also called like a chocolate cyst, I guess, because it basically is like a bunch of blood in there. So September 2020, I end up going into surgery to get that cyst removed. Unfortunately, by that time, it was so big and like wrapped around my right ovary that the doctor, once he was in there, decided I needed the whole ovary taken out. So he took out my right ovary, so now I only have my left ovary. And this was done like, is it called, it's not microscopic, it's like laparoscopic, I think. And it's like just a little cut but under my tummy, a lower one down even lower, like where a C-section might be, and then one on this side. And I think they have like a camera and then like two things going in. I don't know. It was really weird because I had never really had surgery. I was so freaking scared. And it was actually funny because my neighbor, she moved away now, but she was a nurse. We had met her like when we moved in. Obviously it was 2020, but we met her real quick outside one time, and she ended up being the nurse putting my medicine in my arm, like my little IV in my arm. And for some reason, like that calmed me down. Like having it be someone I had met and like kind of knew, and she was like a grandma age, and it was like, thank goodness Trula's here. Like it was so calming. And then my anesthesiologist was awesome too. Like he made me feel really comfortable. And like I said, I loved Dr. Two. So like the surgery went great. I was feeling really good after that. So that was September, and he's like, okay, so this is mid-September, you're having this surgery. We're gonna wait till October. You're gonna have one normal period, and then I want you to start November on Clomid. Like we're not playing around. You've already waited 2.5 years, whatever it was. We got your cyst out, like let's start Clomid. And it was kind of like weird to me because I'm like, well, you're saying that I'm dropping eggs. You're saying that, because this was my question too. Okay, now that I only have one ovary, am I only gonna ovulate every other month? Because I had it in my head that like each side drops one each month, or not each side. You get what I'm saying? Like one period, your left side drops an egg. The next month, your right side drops an egg. But apparently when you just get one ovary taken out, the other one just drops an egg every month. So I still have a period every month, and I'm still dropping an egg every month, apparently. So I was like happy to do this because I wanted to move forward. But at the same time, I was just like, you're saying that wasn't the problem, but you're gonna like put me on this thing. But again, like it was just my confusion. It wasn't like I was against doing Clomid. They kind of scare you when they tell you about Clomid because it's a fertility drug, by the way, if you've never heard what this is. The side effects are hot flashes, mood swings, like basically PMS symptoms, but more intense. And you also have, I think the way they say it is it doubles your chances for twins. But your chances for twins are only like 1 or 2%, so that brings it to like 4%. So it sounds scary, like this is gonna double your chances, but it's still a very, very low chance, you know? And twins are beautiful, like that's awesome. I'm sure it's really, really hard, and I don't know that I would necessarily choose to have twins, but like if I had twins, cool, one and done, like I'd have 2 kids. So I was not against that by any means. So the next period I had was like amazing, and this is how they have been ever since I had my surgery. Now my periods are like, you know, I might have a heavy day, but they're like very much lighter and like 4 days. And I'm like, is this how normal girls are? Like I used to have like a 12-day period at times. I'm not exaggerating. I would have anywhere from 7 to like 12 days. It was I was gonna say outrageous and insane at the same time. It was just crazy because I think I just thought it was normal. So anyways, I was so excited about starting Clomid. I was so excited because it meant like I'm finally doing something proactive, you know? I just think sometimes people talk to you and they're like, don't worry, it'll happen, all this stuff. And so I think with my personality too, that's why it just took me so long. Like life is busy. It's not like I thought, oh, I'm just gonna keep waiting. It was just one of those things, like I would be sad every month, but I'm a pretty positive person, like I try to be, and so I would just like talk to my girlfriends and be like, it's okay, it's okay. But then what started happening was like everyone around me was getting pregnant, and it was seeming so easy for everyone, and it just was like getting to me because I would see people's posts getting pregnant, and it was kind of like when I was waiting to get engaged because my husband took for freaking ever to ask me to marry him. And it's like when you see everyone around you getting something you want, it's like you're not happy for them, you're so happy for them. Like I would never wish upon my worst enemy for them to not find a partner and get married or not get pregnant and have become a mother. Like I would never wish that on anyone. I'm so happy seeing other people get something I want. Like I'm not that kind of a person that's like jealous in a malicious way. It was more just like, how come it's so easy for everyone else and it's not for me? Like I'm meant to be a mom. And another thing too is my husband works, like I said, as a firefighter, and at this time he was running a lot of medical calls, and he would come home and be like, just saw this like drug addict like have a baby and get it taken away, just saw this person, like this is her third baby, I've seen this patient, like, and it was just really sucky because it's like, why are people like that who should not be having babies, in my opinion? And it's just a mind F, you know? It's just like, why are all these people getting pregnant? How come I can't when I want it so bad? Like I remember at my baby or at my bridal shower, there was like those little surveys you fill out, and then your like friends and family have to guess your answers, and it said, what's your dream job? And everyone wrote like celebrity makeup artist and stuff like that. That's what they thought I would have said. And I said, Mom, like I just wanted to have a baby with my husband so much and like have a family. And it's so weird because like I'm not really I wasn't a baby person. Like that was always my sister. Babies always kind of freaked me out. I was more of like a kid, like when they get a little older and they can communicate. So I think I threw people off. But anyways, I knew I wanted to be a mom and have a family and all of that. So I kind of am lost where I was going. Okay, so at this point, my AC clicked on again. I really hope that's not that loud, but I'm just gonna keep talking. So at this point, I had my surgery. It was September. Dr. 2, I keep calling Dr. 1, Dr. 2. Dr. 2 wanted me to wait October, have a normal cycle, see if that's all good and how I was healing, all is well. So November, I was made to start Clomid. And like I said, I have a video all about this. So if you want to know more about my symptoms and how I was feeling on Clomid and all of that, I'll link that video below. Sorry, I want to give my eyes a second because I don't want it to look like I'm crying. I literally just changed my contacts, so I think it's allergies, but it's, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so also at this time, I was struggling a little bit with like throughout my 20s and early 30s. So how old was I at this point? I was 30 years old. I was struggling at times with depression and anxiety, and I started following a life coach named Alejandra, and Ali, she's awesome. I will link her below. I love her, and I hope if you need help and you want a life coach and you want to access that online, check her out, see if she's right for you. This isn't like a commercial for her or anything, but I know you can do free discovery calls where she just like hops on a phone call with you and you get a chat. But anyways, so November I start Clomid and I'm not pregnant, and I remember I felt like a balloon that someone took a needle and popped. Like I just felt so defeated, deflated, whatever. It was like I just kind of had it in my head like, all right, this is gonna work because like nothing's wrong with me in the first place. We can't find anything wrong. I have my cyst out now, so I'm so healthy. And I'm on Clomid. And also, this is kind of like weird to admit, but you guys, I was a stoner. I smoked a lot of weed. So it got to this point where like I was like not drinking. I would go through bouts of this too. And I think that was like a mental thing going on in my head too. It's like, I'm eating healthy, I'm not drinking, I'm stopped smoking. I like am trying to just cleanse my body. Like again, I can't really remember, but I remember at that point when I was taking Clomid and stuff, I was not drinking, I wasn't smoking. I remember going from, I think it was on Christmas Eve, I like had some drinks and fun and stuff because it was like, okay, now it's been 2 months that I'm not pregnant. So did the Clomid November, did the Clomid December, still wasn't pregnant, but in December I started that life coaching program. And one of the major points I was working on with Ali was kind of like, there was a lot I was working on because we did different like chapters within the program, and so you work on all this different stuff. But I remember like the main thing was I wanted to be confident with building a life of happiness if I never became a mom, but also like believing I was gonna become a mom, which I know sounds counteractive, but it was like she wanted me to focus on like other stuff, work on my own self. And this kind of goes to show you like if you stop focusing on it, sometimes it'll happen. But I also freaking hate that. Like I hated when people were like, oh, just stop worrying about it and it'll happen. No, don't say that to anyone. Do not say that to people. It'll happen when you least expect it. Like, I know the intention is always good, but when you've already done that, when you've already tried to not think about it, it's so frustrating. Instead, I would say focus on that and do what you can. Do what you can with what you have, but also put energy into just bettering yourself. And that way, when you do become a mom, when, not if, you'll be a better version of yourself and ready for it. Like, that's more the mindset shift I needed, because I was in a very like a scarcity mindset. Like, I'm not going to become a mom. What am I going to do? I feel like a dumbass around all my friends. Not that people have to be parents, but like, I wanted that. So when I would be around all my friends who had kids now at this point, people are starting to have their second rounds of kids and I still don't have a kid. The birthdays, and like, I just would go and I'm like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I've wanted a family for so long and I just feel like there's just families all around me, and I kind of started getting left behind, I felt like. And I know my friends that watch this will feel so terrible, like if they knew I felt that way, and I've expressed it, you know. It's just weird because now I do have an almost 2-year-old, so like, it's all good. But if you are someone just randomly watching this who has kids and you have a friend who's trying, involve them, like invite them, make sure they're not feeling left out. Because I remember in particular this one event, it was a parade. It's so stupid, but like, I wanted to go to the parade with my friends and their kids. All the ones that had kids like got together and forgot to like tell me the time. It wasn't intentional, but like, I was texting them and calling them, and now I know as a mom, they were freaking busy and they just weren't checking their phone. But I felt like they forgot about me because I don't have kids to bring. You know what I mean? And like, I don't think that was true looking back, but I remember that was like a core memory of like, I'm starting to like not relate as much to my friends because they're all in a different stage of life than me, and it's a stage I want to be in. So then I started getting down on myself about that, and like, I always dreamt of like raising babies with them, and it's so crazy because full circle, literally I had my baby in November and I had 4 friends have babies November, December, January, February, March. Now we have 5 kids in our friend group that are all Golden's age, my daughter Golden. So it all works out. Like, I had a baby with them second round, but I'm just trying to like remember all the details and like express the feelings I was having. So anyways, December, I started that life coaching class and I just focused on me and like doing stuff to improve myself and my confidence. When I graduated in March from that life coaching class, I think that's the most happy, confident I've ever been. I graduated on my birthday, or like right around, like within a day or two of my birthday when I was 31. And it was like, I had just done 8 weeks of self-work, or 12 weeks, because it started in December. Yeah, I had done 12 weeks, I think, of self-work, and just put all this effort and energy into like making my life beautiful around me and like working on myself and letting go of like anger I had toward other people and like trauma. And it was just like the best thing I could have done to like put all that focus into myself. January came, didn't get pregnant, again deflated, sad, horrible. And I remember Dr. Tu saying that when you do Clomid, you can do it for 6 months, and then at that point you have to take a break, and I think you can try it again. And after 2 rounds, he wanted to move on to something else. I don't know if that was IVF. I don't know what the next step was because we never got there, thank goodness. So we're at January, that's 3 months taking it and not getting pregnant. So February comes and I had started eating in like a keto diet, and Valentine's Day was happening. And so that week I was leaving on a bachelorette party trip with some girlfriends to Napa. So I knew we were going to be drinking wine and stuff, but I was doing keto, so I hadn't been drinking that much. And also I'm on Clomid, like I'm trying to not drink, but I would like allow myself those special occasions to do that kind of stuff. So anyways, it was Valentine's Day. It was like a Sunday that year. So this was 2021 now, because I'm about to turn 31. My husband and I cooked like a nice, I think we had like lobster tail and steak, and we made like a keto version of like a nice dinner, you know? And we like ate, and I was ovulating. So we practiced having a baby at that time, and I just went off to my bachelorette party that week and had a great time. That was the month I got pregnant with Golden. 4 months in on Clomid. And so I think I have a first trimester recap and second, and then I think third, I don't remember if I ever did, but like I'll link all these videos that have to do with how I felt during pregnancy and all that down below in case you want to watch those as well. But yeah, like I remember I graduated that life coaching class, and then I had my birthday, and I found out, so I think my birthday was like on a Thursday or Friday, it's March 4th. And this is gonna sound so silly, but I had a Botox appointment that following Monday. And I think I was like a couple days late on my period, and I thought, thought, there's no way I'm pregnant. Like, I'm not getting pregnant. Like, I kept thinking about it like, this is just something I have to go through, like a step I have to go through. Like, I was kind of feeling that way at this point because I had already not gotten pregnant for, in my mind, almost 4 months on this Clomid journey. So I was like, okay, this is just something I have to get through to get to the next step. Like, take the Clomid, do your thing, whatever. And also, now my sister is getting married in November in Mexico. So in February, I had to decide, like, if I take my Clomid and happen to get pregnant, I'm not going to be able to be in my sister, best friend in the world's wedding in Mexico because I won't be able to go. I'll be having a baby. And I just thought to myself, like, I don't think I'm going to get pregnant anyways. It doesn't seem like it's working for me. I don't know what's wrong. So I'm just going to take my Clomid because I also just, obviously, it was weird because I felt positive. Like, I wanted to still keep thinking it was going to work, but I just remember feeling like, it hasn't worked for 3 months, like it's probably not gonna work. I had already planned life around getting pregnant. Like, I can't do it because my brother's getting married in Jamaica. I have to go to that. I have to go to my friend's wedding in Hawaii, so we have to stop trying for this. Whatever it was, like, it just felt like there was so many times I had done that I was like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I can't. I've been trying to get pregnant so long, like, I can't. I have to try every month for myself. And it was a hard decision to make because my sister's my best friend, and it's just so crazy that it ended up being that time I got pregnant. Really? It's like, really? But it is what it is. So anyways, I had a Botox appointment and I was like, there's no way I'm not getting Botox and being pregnant. Like, I remember just being like, I'm not testing because I want to wait till I'm late way longer. Like, I'm so tired of getting negative tests. Like, there's no way in hell I'm missing that Botox appointment because I'm pregnant this time. Like, I want my Botox and I don't think I'm pregnant, so it'll just, like, I won't have to see another negative test. All these thoughts are going on in my head, and I know it sounds so crazy, but I went and got my Botox, and I literally the next morning was like, I still have not started my period, and I think I was 5 days late by this point. So I was like, I'm going to work, I'm getting a test on the way home, and I'm testing. And I did, and I remember, like, looking, I had the test sitting on the floor, and I looked down and I was like, oh my god, I am pregnant. I just got Botox yesterday. Is my baby okay? Like, I can't go to my sister's wedding. Like, it was so mixed emotion because it was like, I was so happy to have something I'd been trying to get for like 3.5 years, but I was also like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to tell my sister I can't be her maid of honor now. Okay, but how am I gonna tell Danny? Like, it was such a mixed emotion thing. So anyways, I ended up trying to tell my husband in a cute way. It didn't really work out, but told him when he got home from work, and it was really awesome, and told my family and all of that, and so now we had a baby. But all this to say, we are trying now for baby number 2, and I've been trying for 4 months, tracking my ovulation, which I don't know if I brought that up. When my friend Brittany had gotten pregnant in June and we kind of started trying, she brought me over ovulation tests that she didn't need anymore. And so I can't remember, but I know that I tested my ovulation often. Like, I started doing that really early on because I just, you know, like, I would do it and then I wouldn't for a couple months because you start seeing consistencies. Like, I remember I used to always ovulate on day 13. Like, you start learning from testing every month, like, okay, I'm ovulating day 13, but they're expensive, the ovulation tests. And so when it's going on for years, like, you're not buying those every single month. At least I wasn't. But like, then once I'm on the Clomid, I'm like for sure doing that. So yeah, like, I was constantly testing and stuff like that. But like, there would just be times where like my husband was gone. And so I was like, I'm not going to test this week. Like, I know I'm ovulating around right now, but he's at work. So like, why waste the test? You know what I mean? So, because he would stay the night at work. So there was an opportunity, you know? So anyways, that is our infertility journey and like how I got to the point I got. And I'm forever grateful that, you know, I didn't have to go past Clomid. And I feel like my heart goes out to you if you are doing IVF and it's not working, or, you know, struggling with miscarriage. That is one thing, like, that'll make me cry in just an instant. I just feel so terrible for people dealing with that. I'm so grateful that I haven't had that experience. I feel like that would be really hard, and I remember that was happening to some people I know, and I remember feeling like I would talk to them about it and they'd be like, but I know, like, you know, we've only been trying this long and going through this, but you've been trying for like a year already or 2 years, and like, that's gotta be hard. And I remember just being like, no amount of time of trying to get pregnant and not will ever relate to getting pregnant and losing your baby. Like, I just don't even think that compares. And so I'm very grateful that I never had that experience. So my heart goes out to you, like, truly, if that's happened to you. I'm so sorry, and I just hope that you can get a baby. So yeah, it's just, yeah, I felt like this video was missing. And so I'll keep you guys in the loop about if we get pregnant a second time. Obviously, you'll see it on here at some point, you'll know. But I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who wrote me on my Clomid video. Like, I had so many people write me, even on Instagram too, just saying like, hey, I stumbled across your channel on YouTube from your Clomid video, and now I see that you have like a baby. I'm so happy for you. Like, those messages, you just taking the time to write to me about that kind of stuff is so kind. And just, I always say this, I think there's so much bad online, like bullying and us comparing ourselves to other people, and humans aren't supposed to have access to like know what's going on and compare your lives to everything else going on, you know. But I think the beauty in online stuff is that connection that you can find with like-minded people or people experiencing the same things as you. And so I think that part is beautiful about being vulnerable and sharing all this online, like connecting with others of you who have gone through similar things, or you're in the process right now. Like, I seriously, when anyone writes me on my Clomid video, like, I'm starting round 2 today, I like sit and think about you, and I'm just like, I hope they get pregnant. Like, I hope I'm sending you my baby dust. Like, I always think about it so hard, like, for real, you know. I just think that it's beautiful becoming a mom and having a family, and I think we're so lucky because a lot of people don't even end up getting to. So I will forever feel grateful for that. And yeah, I hope this video made you feel hopeful, positive, you learned something. I hope you got something out of it. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon with another video.